Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Tuesday, March the 8th. We do have a 6-game Tuesday slate, and as always guys, we're going to talk through each one of Tuesday's 6 games, break down each team, kind of give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at the slate on Monday night. And then as we do go through each game, we will build out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players that do specifically stand out to me on both Draftkings and on Yahoo at first look. But as always, guys, I appreciate all your support. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you have not yet, make sure you hit that like button down below. Also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers. Hopefully, we will hit that milestone within the next month or so. Maybe by the end of March, we'll be at 25,000 subscribers. So if you're new here, definitely hit that subscribe button. I do upload these DFS videos Monday through Friday. I also post videos on PrizePicks Monday through Friday, and PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video, so you guys can actually go check them out. Link down below in the description, or just whenever you sign up for PrizePicks, make sure to use promo code NOAH, and they will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. You take a look what PrizePicks has to offer. They're a player prop-based DFS site, so it is very simple. You're just picking the over or the under on a player's projection. You can take a look at their board for Tuesday's NBA games. Obviously, they don't have much posted right now, but as we get closer to tip-off Monday night, they'll get a lot of stuff posted. They offer a ton of other sports outside of NBA, so if you do like to dabble into other stuff, college basketball, PGA, esports, whatever it may be, PrizePicks probably has it available. They have every sport imaginable, so you can definitely check them out. Sign up, use code NOAH. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And again, I do provide some of my favorite plays on PrizePicks each day in a YouTube video that I make and I post each day. We actually did go 3-0 on Monday. So if you checked out Monday's PrizePicks video, you were able to get those 3 picks in. You should have made some money there. We had the over on Rudy Gobert rebounds, 12.5. He finished with 13, so just got over for us. Domantas Sabonis, we had over 11.5 rebounds, and at the time I'm making this video, he just went over his projection early in the second half. He's got 12 rebounds already, and obviously could get more. And then we took the under on Gabe Vincent assist, which turned out to be a really good play. After Lowry got ruled out, Gabe Vincent only played like 3 or 4 minutes in the final parts of the game. Basically, just played in like the final 2 or 3 minutes, and luckily that prop was not counted as a DMP. It counted since he played a couple minutes. So we went 3-0 on our PrizePicks plays for Monday's slate. Hopefully, we'll go 3-0 or 4-0, however many picks I give out in Tuesday's video. We'll hit all those as well. So if you do play on PrizePicks already, you want to check out those videos. I do upload those every day to my YouTube channel Monday through Friday, talking through some of my favorite plays on PrizePicks. But again, guys, if you want to sign up for PrizePicks, you can use code NOAH. They'll match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. But I think that's it for all that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tuesday's 6-game slate. We're going to start off with the first game of the night, which is a really, really appealing game to target. It's Brooklyn and Charlotte, 2 very, very fast-paced teams, 2 teams that are defensively this year have not been great. This game has a 241.5 total right now, just a 3.5-point spread as well. So massive total in this game, close spread. Basically just sets up to be a DFS, kind of shootout. I mean, this is a game you're going to want to target for DFS. So starting off on the Brooklyn side, we kind of know when it comes to this Brooklyn team right now, the guys that we want to go to, and that's Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Now, where they're both priced at, Kevin Durant's 11-1, Kyrie is 10K. Between the two, I think I do prefer Kevin Durant. Since Kevin Durant has come back from injury, I mean, there's been no limitations on him. He's been full go, played 35 minutes against Miami, played 39 minutes in their last game against Boston. Been pretty productive as well. Even last game with Kyrie back, he was really productive, had 61 DK points. Obviously, the matchup here against Charlotte is really, really good. Charlotte plays fast. They haven't been good defensively this season. I think Kevin Durant's a really good pay-up option today. I think Kyrie's a fine option too. Now, Kyrie playing with KD is, a little bit tricky. We definitely seen Kyrie have some bad games playing alongside KD this year, but there's always still upside for Kyrie. I just prefer KD straight up just because KD, throughout his career on the season as well, has been he's been a better point per minute player than Kyrie has. So I would definitely just try and find the salary to get up to Kevin Durant over Kyrie Irving. But the matchup's so good that I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie does well here too. I would probably only play one of those 2 guys. I definitely would not play them both in the same lineup. But then you got Andre Drummond, who I actually do like quite a bit today. So LaMarcus Aldridge has already been ruled out for Brooklyn, which should solidify Drummond for pretty solid minutes here. Now, it's been tricky to predict the minutes for Drummond so far in the games that he's played with the Nets. His minutes have kind of been all over the place. 24 against Sacramento, 23, 19, 20, 29, 16, 20, 17. So he's kind of been anywhere from like 16 to like 28 minutes. I mean, it's just kind of it's been a wild guess, but I think not having LaMarcus Aldridge is pretty big because LaMarcus Aldridge, he's basically been their backup center, and he has been a guy that will take minutes away from Drummond. If Drummond's not playing well, they can go straight to Aldridge, and Aldridge can play a ton. So I think not having Aldridge out there makes it a lot more likely that Drummond has a longer leash. I don't know how much they really want to play Blake Griffin or Nicholas Claxton. I mean, both those guys I don't even think have been in the rotation lately. Their last game against Boston, Blake Griffin didn't play. In their last game against Boston, I don't think Nicholas Claxton played either. Where's he at? Yeah, he played 18 minutes, so he actually got a little bit of run. But my best guess is you probably see Claxton just kind of fill in as the backup center, and then Drummond probably starts again and plays, 24, 25 minutes, maybe more. The matchup against Charlotte is phenomenal. Charlotte's been terrible defensively against bigs this year. They've allowed, I believe, like in terms of fantasy points allowed to centers, they're one of the top teams in terms of that. So really think this spot's as good as it gets for Drummond. If he gets like 25, 26 minutes, which is definitely possible without LaMarcus Aldridge, he should be able to crush in this matchup. And 5,800, that might be too cheap for Drummond if the minutes are there. Now, that's the big risk, is that we don't really know how many minutes he's going to play, but I'm willing to take a shot on him. I definitely like Andre Drummond on this slate quite a bit with LaMarcus Aldridge out. And I think on Yahoo at $20, Andre Drummond looks like a pretty good player over there as well. So he's one of my favorite plays from this Brooklyn team. I think KD is also a good option. I don't hate going to Kyrie either. But like Bruce Brown, Seth Curry, the rest of this team, I'm not really looking to anyone else on Brooklyn. I think KD and Kyrie both being healthy, that's going to take away from all these other guys, and just, none of these other guys really stand out. Drummond is one of those guys that, he doesn't need to create his own shot to have a big game. Like Drummond, when Drummond has a massive game, it's because he gets like 20 rebounds, he blocks a bunch of shots, and that's something he could definitely do in this really good matchup. So I don't think Drummond's role is affected too much by those guys. We can go ahead and move on to the other side of this game with Charlotte. So when it comes to Charlotte, we kind of know, in a close game, who's going to play the big minutes. It's going to be LaMelo, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, and then, Kelly Oubre will play 25, 30 minutes off the bench most likely. PJ Washington should continue to start, probably play around 25 to 30 minutes. He got big minutes last game against San Antonio. Montrezl Harrell, him and Mason Plumlee are basically going to split the center minutes. I don't really think you're going to see those guys play alongside each other much at all. So I don't know if I'm going to go to like Plumlee or Harrell or the rest of Charlotte, but I think the main guys, LaMelo, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, again, if this game's close, you're getting 30-plus minutes from all these guys, probably mid to high 30s. Now, LaMelo's minutes have kind of been a little bit down lately, but the game against Milwaukee was a blowout. Game against Cleveland, he was in massive foul trouble. It was also a blowout. Last game against San Antonio, it was kind of weird to see him only play 29 minutes. I don't know why that was the case. He actually played pretty well, so I don't know if they planned to play him just 30 minutes, but I would think if LaMelo's, it stays out of foul trouble, the game stays close, he's going to play like mid to high 30s minutes. And I really like the matchup here against Brooklyn. Again, fast-paced game, which should set up really well for LaMelo's skill set. He's a guy that can, contribute in all categories, can get rebounds, can get assists, can score points, obviously. He can get defensive stats too. He just does everything. And it's a fantastic matchup. It's a great game environment, fast-paced game. Definitely like LaMelo at only $8,700 today, and I like him a lot on Yahoo as well at $36. He is for sure going to be someone that I also look to target in this game. But if you want to go to Terry Rozier, if you want to go to Miles Bridges, I mean, those guys are fine options too. Terry Rozier has been playing really well lately. We've seen his price come up quite a bit. Over last 4 games or 5 games, he's put up at least 47 DK points now, and 4 out of his last 5 been playing big minutes too. I think given how closely priced he is to LaMelo, I would just rather go to LaMelo. I know LaMelo hasn't been as good lately, but on the season, LaMelo's a better point per minute player. So I would just side with him between the two, but obviously Rozier's fine, Bridges is fine. Don't think I'm going to anyone else on Charlotte though. Maybe PJ Washington you could go to. Harrell or Plumlee, maybe one of those two guys has a good game here. It is a pretty good matchup for them, but I'm really focused on the main 3 guys from Charlotte that we just talked about. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Not as exciting, Cleveland and Indiana, but on the Cleveland side, there are some injuries here to talk about. Jared Allen will be out. Karis LeVert remains out, and I think Rondo is questionable. So I don't think Rondo being questionable is too impactful, but definitely Jared Allen being out is a new injury that is going to impact this slate. So without Jared Allen, we should see a really good role for both Evan Mobley and Kevin Love. And I think Evan Mobley at $7K looks like a really good play today. His price tag didn't really move at all for this Jared Allen news. At $7K, I like him quite a bit. And I think on Yahoo, he's too cheap over there at $28. I mean, we've seen Evan Mobley play well when Jared Allen is off the floor. I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup today. They might start Evan Mobley at center. They might start Kevin Love at center. They might start Ed Davis. Like, that's a possibility. But regardless, Mobley should be way more productive without Allen on the floor. He should get plenty of minutes at center where his rebounds should see a big spike. We saw him get 17 rebounds last game after Allen got injured and did not return. Had a massive game, went for 53 DK points. I mean, this matchup against Indiana is fantastic. Like, no Domantas Sabonis, no Miles Turner. It's going to be Isaiah Jackson, Goga, O'Shea Brissett, Jalen Smith. Like, none of these guys are elite defenders by any means. So definitely like the spot here for Evan Mobley. I think it's 7K. Without Jared Allen, he looks like a pretty good play today. And I do like Kevin Love quite a bit as well. I'd expect whether Kevin Love starts or comes off the bench, he will get more minutes. He played 30 minutes last game, probably gets 25 to 30 minutes here. Kevin Love has been a super productive point per minute player this year. When he's gotten opportunity, he's been able to produce at a really high rate. Matchup's really good. Definitely think Kevin Love's in play. Probably my second favorite play from Cleveland. Garland at 9K, the price tag has gotten way up there now. He's back to being priced where he probably should be. So I think now that Garland's at 9K, I'll probably be off of him at this salary. I would rather go to the bigs that we just talked about. But like Markkanen, it's Jetty Osman. I don't think I'm going to any of these guys. It's really just like Mobley and Kevin Love are the two guys that really stand out from Cleveland today. And Ed Davis, if he starts, I wouldn't really go there. I mean, he did get some minutes last game, played 7 minutes. We've seen them start Ed Davis before whenever Jared Allen has missed games. But even if he starts, I'm not really playing Ed Davis on this slate. So let's move on to the other side of this game with Indiana. And looking at the Pacers here, Halliburton, Brogdon, Buddy Hield, the main guys. All three of these guys are viable just because if it's a close game, you're going to get pretty big minutes from all three of those guys. Now, I will say that where they're priced at and given the matchup, like none of these three Pacers stand out as priority plays today, but it wouldn't be surprising to see maybe one of these guys do well here if this game stays close and they play their full minutes. But again, Halliburton's almost 9K, Brogdon's almost 8K, Buddy Hield's over 7K. They're fine, but max one of those three, I would say, and probably if I'm playing a lot of lineups today, I don't think I'm going to get a ton of exposure to Indiana. O'Shea Brissett, at his price tag, I don't really love. Jalen Smith has been playing well off the bench, but he's priced at 5,600, so it's not like we're getting much of a discount on Jalen Smith anymore. There's just not much here. It's a tough matchup. I don't really see anybody that stands out given the price tag, so I'm really focused on the Cleveland side of this game more so than Indiana. But that's it for that one. We can move on to the next game, Phoenix and Orlando. So in Phoenix, they're still going to be without Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Cam Johnson going to be out once again as well. So without Booker, Paul, Johnson, we kind of know where we want to go to. We know the guys that are benefiting. It's DeAndre Ayton, it's Mikal Bridges, it's Cameron Payne, Jay Crowder. Those are the four main guys you want to look to from Phoenix. DeAndre Ayton finally had a good game last game, went for 44 DK points against Milwaukee. He's been a really frustrating player to roster this season. Hasn't been nearly as productive as he was last season. Also, his minutes haven't been as high, but last few games, he has gotten pretty good minutes, 34 and 33 minutes. Matchup here against Orlando, I think is one that Ayton should be able to do fine in. I think there's more opportunity for him to score. Without Booker and Paul, we saw him take 19 shots last game, which is, that's got to be like the most he's taken all season. I definitely think at 6,600, DeAndre Ayton is someone that we can look to today. Mikal Bridges, the last few games without without CP3 and Booker, they haven't been as good as I would like. Bridges hasn't been taking on like this massive offensive role that I maybe thought he would, but he's still been solid and he's still been playing big minutes. 39 minutes against the Knicks, 42 minutes last game against Milwaukee, had 39 DK points, 25 DK points last game. Mikal Bridges, if this game does stay close, he will play 38, 40 minutes most likely. Now, does he take on a big offensive role without Booker and CP3? The last two games, he really hasn't. He's only taken 11 and 14 shots. I thought maybe we would see Mikal Bridges really dominate the usage, take like 15, 20 shots, but that just hasn't been the case. I still think with how many minutes he's going to play, at 6,200, he is definitely viable. But by far, my favorite play from Phoenix is Cameron Payne. I've been on Cameron Payne the last two slates ever since he's come back from injury, or the last three slates for that matter, and he's been really good. 20 minutes in a game where he was limited, he had 25 DK points. New York, he played 32 minutes against the Knicks, had 46 DK points. Last game against Milwaukee, he got up to 36 minutes, had 39 DK points. He's just been really productive. He's always been a productive player with Phoenix when he's gotten minutes without Devin Booker, without Chris Paul. When you take those guys off the floor and Cameron Payne is like the primary point guard, he's a fantasy point per minute player, if not better than that. And right now it seems like he's going to play big minutes on a nightly basis. He's still only 5,300. Cameron Payne is a 7K player. Like, I don't know why DraftKings is only pricing him at 5,300 for his role right now. He should be 7 to 8K. So I still like Cameron Payne a lot at 5,300. I think on Yahoo, he's still too cheap over there. Only $20. Definitely one of my favorite point guard plays on Yahoo today. And then like Jay Crowder, I mean, he's been really good the last 2 games. He's been shooting the ball well. 27 DK points against the Knicks, 37 DK points last game against Milwaukee. Jay Crowder, not normally a guy I would ever get excited to roster, but I think as a mid-range power forward option, small forward option, he's fine. Probably like my 4th favorite play from Phoenix. And then the bench guys like Aaron Holiday, Torrey Craig. I mean, Torrey Craig should play a little bit more without Cam Johnson. He played 21 minutes last game, but on a 6-game slate, there's probably other guys we can target. Aaron Holiday should come off the bench, play like 20, 25 minutes, playable, but not someone I'm super excited about. We did see Landry Shamet start once again and actually played really well last game. Now, Landry Shamet is never a guy that, again, he's another guy I just don't get excited to roster. He is very score independent. If he's not hitting shots, he's really not going to contribute in many other categories. But he's cheap, and he should play like 25, 30 minutes. So at 3,700, like Landry Shamet as a value play is someone you can throw in your player pool. But that's probably it from Phoenix. I think that's everything here. Other side of this game with Orlando. Orlando, they're not a team I'm really looking to target today. It's a tough matchup against the Suns. The pricing on Orlando, like nobody really stands out. I will say we will need to monitor the status of Jalen Suggs. So Jalen Suggs, he was questionable last game, ultimately did not play. We actually saw RJ Hampton start in place of Jalen Suggs, but he played like complete shit. Had 15 DK points in 34 minutes. The price tag is still really low on RJ Hampton, so I think if Jalen Suggs is out again, we can go back to RJ Hampton here. RJ Hampton, I think, would play pretty good minutes once again. He probably would play in a blowout as well. If this game does wind up turning into a blowout, I think Hampton would still be out there. So I would feel pretty good about Hampton, even though he busted last slate. I think he'd be a solid value if he starts again. If Suggs plays, though, there's not much I'm looking to from Orlando. Wendell Carter at almost 8K, I'm not super excited about. Cole Anthony's just been so frustrating to roster this year. At 7K, or almost 7K, I don't think I'd go there. Wagner at 6K, maybe. Like, he might be my favorite play from Orlando if Suggs sits, but I'm not really into mini Magic today. This is not a team I have much interest in. So let's move on to the next game, New Orleans and Memphis. On New Orleans today, you got the top guys here, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram. Both are solid options. It's a pretty good matchup against Memphis. This is another game kind of similar to the Brooklyn-Charlotte game. This is another game that should be pretty high scoring, should stay competitive. So you should see big minutes from CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram if the game stays close. CJ McCollum, since he's been with the Pelicans, been really good. He's had a really good role. He's been starting at point guard, been playing big minutes on a nightly basis. I think 9,100 is probably an appropriate price tag for him, but again, the matchup is pretty good. It's a fast-paced game, so I think one of Ingram or McCollum is fine here. I don't think I'd play both Ingram and McCollum together. I think you're really kind of limiting your upside there, but if you want to play one of those two, I have no issues going to either one. J-Val at 7,500 continues to be a frustrating player to roster. I mean, he's had some good games lately. He's also had some shit games. In this matchup against Steven Adams, like I want to say that J-Val can have some success here. Last game, he played 30 minutes against Denver, but he did foul out in those 30 minutes. He was on pace to actually play pretty big minutes because they wanted him out there to guard Jokic. Going up against Steven Adams, maybe they play him more. I think J-Val regardless is going to get around 30, 32 minutes, but maybe we see 34, 35 minutes. J-Val's always been a productive player when he's gotten minutes. He's been, again, very up and down this season, but at 7,500, I'm still fine with J-Val today. And that's really all I'm looking to from the Pelicans. I don't see anyone else here I'm really interested in. So let's move on to the other side of this game with Memphis. And when it comes to Memphis, John Morant is always the one guy that I like the most on the Grizzlies, and I think that's once again the case today. Very, very weird to see that John Morant struggled as much as he did in such a good matchup last game against Houston. I was very high on John Morant that day. I did play him in my lineup that day, and he busted. He only had 37 DK points in 35 minutes in a really good matchup, but he gets a really good matchup again. Now, I will say that we've seen the Pelicans do this where they basically put Herbert Jones on whoever the best player is from the opposing team. So there is a good chance that Ja will be guarded by Herbert Jones. But Ja's like such a good player that I still would probably side with him over Herbert Jones. Now, Herbert Jones has been one of the better defenders this year, but I still think Ja can exceed in any matchup, even if Herbert Jones is guarding him. Ja just is such a good player. He just gets so many minutes on a nightly basis, has such a monster usage rate in a great matchup in what should be a fast-paced game. Like, I definitely think Ja can succeed here, even being guarded by Herb Jones. So definitely like Ja today. The rest of Memphis, like Triple J, Desmond Bain, Steven Adams, those guys are fine, but none of them stand out at their price points. And the rest of Memphis, I'm not really looking to. It's, Ja is the main guy that stands out from the Grizzlies today. And that's it for that game. We can move on to the next one, a game that has a lot of blowout risk here. A very, very good team facing a very, very shit team. We got Milwaukee going up against OKC. Now, this game is being played in OKC, which maybe helps with the blowout. But so far, or at least as of now, I think Milwaukee is still favored by like almost 15. So could get a little ugly here. But if by some chance this game stays close, I mean, Giannis should be able to absolutely smash against this OKC team. They should have no answer for Giannis. I mean, Giannis should be able to dominate against whoever they put on him. I don't know who it's going to be. It might be Darius Bazley. It might be Isaiah Roby. It might be Derek Favors. I mean, none of those guys stand a chance against Giannis. So if this game can stay close and Giannis plays his full minutes, I mean, he should crush. He went for 66 Draftkings points in 35 minutes against OKC earlier this season. I believe that was a competitive game. If this game can stay close, I think Giannis smashes. If the game blows out, then at 12K, I mean, it's going to be really hard for Giannis to justify this price tag in a blowout. So I think if you play Giannis, you might want to run it back with like a SGA and just hope that you get a close game. But I definitely think Giannis should smash in however many minutes he plays here. The rest of Milwaukee, like Drew and Middleton and Bobby Portis, I just don't really go to these guys when the team's healthy. When Giannis is healthy, I just really play Giannis. I don't really play Drew or Middleton that often. Again, the matchup is good, so like I wouldn't be surprised if one of these guys does well, but I'm not really looking to anyone else on Milwaukee. I guess it is worth noting that Grayson Allen is out, so Wesley Matthews probably starts, I guess, but like I'm not going to play Wesley Matthews. So yeah, from Milwaukee, I'm really just kind of looking at Giannis here, and even Giannis I'm a little bit worried about just because, man, this game has a lot of blowout risk, and I really don't think these guys play their full minutes. I don't think they're going to have to. By some chance the game stays close and you play Giannis, I mean, it kind of makes sense to run it back with SGA. SGA has just been amazing lately. Now, at 10,600, like it's starting to get to a point where, like, do we want to continue to pay this price tag for SGA? I mean, he's been justifying this price tag without a doubt. I mean, he's put up 60 DK points in 3 out of his last 5 games. I definitely worry about blowout here, though. I think this is a game where SGA could really be limited in minutes. He's definitely going to be guarded by Drew, and that's a tough matchup. But if you want to play Giannis and SGA, like I think that'll be a very contrarian kind of combo, correlation there. And if the game stays close, I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis puts up 70, if SGA puts up 50 to 60. So I guess you could do that, but I'm not really looking to mini Thunder today just because this game has a lot of blowout risk. I really don't want to be rostering many guys against Milwaukee here anyway. Poku, he might play in a blowout regardless, so like I think Poku could still be fine. He probably gets 30 minutes, 30, 32 minutes regardless of if the game blows out or not. They have shown that they will play Poku in a blowout. So maybe Poku you could go to, but I'm not looking to many OKC guys here. I'm not a team I'm really that thrilled about. So let's move on to the last game of the night, the late night hammer, the Clippers and the Warriors. So the Clippers today, when it comes to this team, it's a super frustrating team to roster because their rotations have just been so out of whack lately. Some of the starters have been playing like really low minutes. We've seen Marcus Morris have his minutes cut quite a bit these last few games. I think that's just kind of due to poor play. They've been playing the bench guys a lot more. Like we've seen Luke Kennard get pretty good minutes, 24 minutes in back-to-back games. We've seen Robert Covington play more. Now, Robert Covington is out today, so maybe that helps a guy like Marcus Morris. But, man, when it comes to the Clippers, like this is a team that I really just hate looking to because you never know how many minutes these guys are going to play. It's all like Ty Lue, he just loves to ride the hot hand. Now, I will say that Reggie Jackson has been playing incredible lately, but Reggie Jackson is 8,600. Like, there's no way I'm playing 8,600 Reggie Jackson. If he goes out there and puts up 50 or 60, then so be it. But he's just too expensive right now. Zubac, matchup against the Warriors, a game that could go small. Like, just doesn't feel like a spot where I really want to be playing Zubac. Marcus Morris, again, like maybe without Robert Covington, we do see Marcus Morris play a little bit more. Maybe his minutes are a little bit more secure. So at 6,100, like I don't hate Marcus Morris. I think, though, that my favorite play from the Clippers is Terrence Mann. So Terrence Mann, he's been one of the starters that has played pretty secure minutes. Like his minutes have been really good. I mean, he's not been getting any minutes cut. I mean, you look at like his last 5 games, 32, 26 in a blowout, 30, 27, 36. Like basically, if the game's close, I think we get 30-plus minutes from Terrence Mann, and I think they're going to want him out there to guard Steph. Terrence Mann is one of their better guard, defenders. He guards a lot of guys like Steph. Those guards that those high usage guards like Ja, Steph, all those guys. Basically, Terrence Mann is kind of their defender that they want on those guys. And we've seen Terrence Mann play really well against the Warriors this season. They actually did play pretty recently, I want to say, on February 14th, and he had 46 DK points in 39 minutes, one of his better games of the season. Now, do I expect 46 DK points from Terrence Mann tonight? No, but I think he will play 30-plus minutes. He's been around a fantasy point-per-minute player. Without Kawhi, without PG, without Norman Powell, there's going to be opportunity for Terrence Mann, and his minutes have been really secure. They're going to want him out there to guard Steph. I think at 6K, he might be my favorite play from this Clippers team. I think you can definitely play Terrence Mann on Yahoo too, because if you look over there, he's only $19 on Yahoo. I think that's way too cheap. I like Terrence Mann a little bit more on Yahoo than I do DK, but regardless, I think he's a pretty solid play on both sides. And then the rest of the Clippers, Hartenstein, he's been playing more lately with Zubac struggling, but I'm not going to go there at 5,100. Maybe without Covington, we see a few more minutes for Kennard, a few more minutes for Batum, a few more minutes for Amir Coffey. But those aren't guys I'm really looking to on this slate. So let's move on to the other side of this game with the Warriors. And right now, the Warriors, you can look and see they have all these guys listed out, but the only reason is because all these guys sat on Monday. I'm recording this video on Monday night. All these guys should be playing today. So with Steph back, with Clay back, with Wiggins back, I don't see a ton that I'm really prioritizing today from the Clippers. Steph at 11K always has upside. He can put up a huge game any night. I don't hate going to Steph as a tournament option. He should be a lot lower owned than some other studs that we've talked about today. But I don't think Steph really stands out. Clay is almost 7K. He doesn't really stand out to me. Wiggins, I don't really ever play. There's just not much from the Warriors that I'm looking to today. Otto Porter sat out Monday. He might start again. If he starts, I think he did start last game against the Lakers. Maybe you could go to Otto Porter if he starts again. I think he started last game if I remember correctly. So, 4,400 Otto Porter. If he starts, probably plays like 25, 26 minutes. That's fine. But the Warriors, assuming all these guys play, which they should, there's not much that I'm really looking to here. This game in general, I'm not super interested in, but I definitely think Terrence Mann on the Clippers side is someone that I probably will be targeting today. But that's it for these 6 Tuesday games. I hope you guys did enjoy this little quick breakdown. I appreciate you watching as always. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well. Also, check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. Again, if you have not signed up for PrizePicks yet, use promo code NOAH when you sign up over there, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And if you guys want some of my favorite plays on PrizePicks each day, I do share those on YouTube. I make a YouTube video Monday through Friday where I give out some of my favorite plays. I also give out more of my favorite plays over on Patreon. So if you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, you can get access to all of my updated DFS content along with my PrizePicks plays I do post over there on Patreon. But I think that's it for this Tuesday slate, guys. I appreciate you watching the video. As always, I hope you did enjoy. Best of luck tonight, and we'll see you in the next one.